In this episode of 5 to 9 podcast, we chat with our friend Sally Spratt, aka The Lust List, who is a commercial and fashion illustrator.
She uses pencil and watercolors to create beautiful illustrations of her favorite things.
We talk about how she left her day job as a graphic designer in the fashion industry to pursue the 5 to 9 life of being an independent illustrator.
Sally has worked with a number of well-known brands such as L'Occitane, Nescafe, and Johnny Walker, and has built a catalogue of her own branded products which you can find on her website.
Go check out her work on Instagram at @thelustlist_, and we hope you enjoy this episode. Right, one more, okay. Hey. Hi everyone, welcome to the 5 to 9 podcast.
A podcast about creators, for creators, living the 5 to 9 life.
Today we have Sally.
Sally at
Intro,
The
good.
Lust List.
That's right.
Yeah, hello Sally.
Hi, thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for coming on. So, I don't know, just to begin with, I guess, tell us a bit about yourself and what you do.
So I'm actually a commercial illustrator. I work with companies wanting to promote their product. I love fashion illustrating, and so I use watercolors and HB pencils. Actually, I've now started transitioning into using my MacBook. My Adobe Procreate sketch tools. So I'm trying to go a little bit digital as well to save the trees.
What's HB? Sorry.
HB, the pencil.
HB. Sorry,
okay,
pencils.
Yeah, I don't know.
HB pencil.
Like a brand. Oh.
No. Huh? Are you serious?
HB, huh?
When you went to school, right, there were like HB pencil, 2B pencils, B pencils, you know, like 6B, 8Bs.
15 years is
Just different types of lead.
You've been digital for a while now, so I'm old school. School watercolor and pencils. And then, sort of transitioning
to digital.
to a little bit digital, half digital.
Right.
So still wanting to create my watercolors on paper and then do digital edits and also use like the sketching tools digitally.
Because currently what you're doing is painting it and then scanning it and then tweaking it on computer, or not really tweaking it?
Correct. No, you're right. Digital editing on screen as well. I think just because, from creating patterns like on watercolor in analog, I guess you'd say, when I scan it in, it loses a lot of the vibrancy and can change the colours a little bit. Exactly.
Right.
So I sort of try and colour match the actual product or what I see on screen, and make those edits so it pops a little bit more once you see it on your phones or wherever you view it.
Right, and then, but when you say you're starting to do digital, you're actually like using the Apple Pencil or whatever to just brush stuff.
Well, you can do watercolor with digitally now, right? I've seen them.
Is it the Fresco or something? Adobe Fresco, is that it?
Yes.
Pretty cool.
You do. Yeah, there's a range that I have been testing out. I haven't had an opportunity to do Fresco yet, and that is something I really want to do before Max.
Yeah.
But I have been using Adobe Sketch and Procreate. So Procreate is great for making things sparkle. Like I can really, like if I'm painting something that's supposed to be glitter or sequins, it adds a real vibrancy because I can add all these highlight tools.
Yeah.
And then if I'm using Sketch, I use the pencil tools to be able, I think just transitions really easily, and then I can overlay it without all of the printing and scanning and all of that. So it just makes it a bit easier.
Is it okay if we share some of your work? Like, we're going to share it on screen.
Put it on screen.
So for those listening to the audio podcast, you should watch the YouTube video if you want to see like what we're talking about and stuff.
Yep. So I guess, were you always into watercolor? Like how did you start?
It was an interesting process actually. No, I wasn't always into watercolors. I was probably more confident with pencils, pens, and...
But you've always been into art, like drawing and stuff, right?
Yeah, I've always loved art. I think that side of my brain always worked. The other side, not so much. Maths and English and the technology side, no. But I was very creative. Yeah.
We've made it, so it's all good.
Exactly. So I think that really built up my confidence, I guess, because I kept doing it and I enjoyed it. So it kept sort of pushing me there. However, I think back in high school, the opportunities that are like around now weren't so available. So I guess I took the safe option. And I went to university and decided to study Viscom because it gave me a bit of a graphic design background, and I thought that was going to be a bread and butter option rather than wanting to paint and draw and live the life of an artist. So always loved being creative, but never quite knew how to narrow in on that. I guess I was always quite excited to do a bit of everything. But started as a graphic designer, worked for about 5 6 years in the industry doing graphics.
Yep.
And that was to do on magazines, in fashion, and just bits and pieces. And then I kind of got to the end of my path in my job.
Right.
Yeah.
It had come time where I guess I really wasn't happy, and
Right.
I was pretty uninspired.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was drawing on the side. I've always had a little bit of an entrepreneurial side
Yeah.
to whatever I've done, and I started creating gift cards and was trying to sell them into florists and a couple of other places, and being like, oh, here are my drawings,
Yeah.
can you please
Pencil
buy them?
at the time. Right.
Pencil, and I'd sort of use
HB.
my graphic HB. That's it, HB 6B
These
4B.
guys. I know what HB is. Yeah. I
To
get
be
it
or
now.
not to be.
Yeah. I get it.
And then tried to sell gift cards. I mean,
Right.
they weren't really anything. I just wanted to find some excuse to
Yeah.
sell my art. And they were like, look, I think it's just a little bit too general, like generic. Can you please hone in? And I was like, oh, people are even buying this. This is
Yeah.
great.
Oh,
You
so
know,
the stores, were they like bigger florists or just local florists
just
in your area?
really local. I was
Okay,
living in
okay.
Wallara at the
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
and
That's cool.
like I literally just walked up and was like, "Hi, I have a range of cards. Do you want to buy them?" They're like, "Okay, we'll take X amount
Oh,
of
that's
each."
cool.
And that was really lucky.
Yeah,
Like it
yeah,
was
yeah.
just, I don't know whether.
But it
like,
shows
was-
your initiative, right? As in, like, you're not just sitting at home, oh, what do I do with this? But you actually, like, went out and actually, you know,
Like
did something with it.
The generation today would like send a DM, and if there's no response, they're like, "Oh, I'm not meant to be an artist."
Yeah.
But like, I think showing people things in real life, something tangible,
Yeah.
prints in person, are definitely has a different impact. I think. So,
I agree, because I think personally,
Yeah.
if I have something tangible to look, feel, see,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I respond so much
Yeah.
better than if someone is sliding into my DMs going, "Hey, can we have a chat about this?" And
Yeah.
I'm like, "Ooh,
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's so different to having that personal relationship."
Right.
But yeah, gave that a go on the side, and I was like, "Ooh, this would be fun to do full time, not necessarily just gift cards into a florist, but being an illustrator."
Right.
And I was still getting creative on the side. So it got to, I think, the 2-year mark, and I sort of got over.
2 year mark of working?
Exactly,
Oh,
sorry,
of the
yeah.
job.
Graphic
Okay.
design.
No,
Right.
sorry, you're right. Graphic
Yeah.
design for a fashion label.
Yeah.
And it got to the end of those 2 years, and I was very creatively stunted. I'd started doing this on the side.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think I'm just done.
Yeah.
So
right.
I spoke to my housemates at the time, and I didn't quite know how to remove myself from my job at the time. So I was like, I want to leave, but I don't know how to leave. Like, it's secure. And
Yeah,
they're like,
yeah,
are
yeah,
you
yeah.
happy? And I was
Yeah.
like, no. So one of them, who is so proactive and supportive, both of them are proactive and supportive,
Yeah.
but one in particular, from the country, she's just, no excuses, just you. If you want to do it, just do it.
Yeah.
Like, this,
Yeah.
I don't understand what the holdup is.
Right.
Yeah.
And the other one's like, I've got your back regardless. Like,
Yeah.
it's all good. You're
Yeah.
going to be fine. I'll line work up with my mom.
Right.
So one wrote my resignation letter.
Oh, really?
The other bought the bottle of wine and said,
wow.
I've printed this out. You're handing it in tomorrow,
Oh, wow.
and you're gonna come home, and we're gonna celebrate with this. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, like I can't back out. And they're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
no, it's literally
Wow.
up to you. So I
Great
walked
friends.
in,
Yeah.
great friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Surround yourself with great friends.
It's-
And I had to do it. So
Yeah.
we had a meeting, you know, when you go, hey,
Yeah, yeah.
you want to have a chat?
Yeah.
And they knew exactly what was coming, because I wasn't happy.
Right.
And we celebrated that night, and 6 weeks later, I was jobless. So
right. Wait, what were you doing to make you unhappy, I guess? Like, what
I
sort of
think-
mundane things were you doing?
look, I think it was just...
Is it too repetitive, or like, is it just like...
It was a little bit repetitive.
Yeah.
I mean, what I do now is repetitive, but it's my decisions
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
of
Yes.
repetition.
Yes.
But I think it was lookbooks, and I think basically I didn't have creative direction.
Right.
So I was at the back end of the
Right.
production line. So
Yeah.
it
And
was just,
everything's
can
digital?
you put graphics?
Like just drag this picture here or whatever. It's like more like...
Yes.
yeah, right.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
it was. It was like, can you fill in the price codes for this? Can you drop and drag that
yeah,
image
yeah, that
in
would
there?
Be, yeah, okay.
And
It sounds like work. Like, doesn't sound
yeah,
fun.
it wasn't creative,
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
despite being a creative role of a graphic designer.
Yeah,
And I just felt like I had a lot more I wanted to explore.
yeah.
And then,
Yeah,
yeah,
so
and
you quit
it
6
wasn't...
weeks later. Six
6 weeks later, I was broke.
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome to the 5 to 9 life.
Exactly.
You're an exact kind of a demographic or like target kind of,
Yeah.
Yeah,
moving.
This is all about what this podcast's all about, right? Like living the 5 to 9 life.
absolutely.
Right.
So I decided it was better to be broke and that gave me a lot more determination. It's like if I wanted something,
Yeah.
I didn't have any other option than to make it.
Yeah.
And that was just like make rent,
Right.
Yeah.
just pull it together. I didn't have to, I was going to sacrifice a lot, which was going to be social life, relationships, and well, expenses and living a life.
Security,
where,
that kind of stuff. Yeah.
And I've never felt more motivated. It's
Right.
like, what do I want most?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was young.
Yeah.
I was probably about 27 actually.
Right.
Or actually probably a little bit younger. And I was just like, okay, this is the time I can sacrifice. I can live without a lot of these things.
Yeah.
So I think I worked 10 jobs within the first year.
What do you mean by that?
Oh, wait.
So there are lots of different jobs. So I do
Like-
admin here, and I do, I think I did waitressing. I was a terrible waitress.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think
Oh,
I
so
dropped
just kind of like anything you could like work on, you kind of just jump in and do it for a bit.
Yeah,
Right.
my hand was up for any odd job
Yeah.
that was around.
Yeah.
And then I tried to sort of build up a bit of a portfolio on the side. So sorry, I know this is a long-winded story, but how it
It's okay,
came
we have lots of
to watercolor was I actually got a really lovely client who was a friend of a friend,
Yep.
actually one of the housemates' friends.
Yep.
And she was like, look, I've got a job I want you to do, and I want you to sort of do it in a bit of like a really whimsical watercolor and
Yeah.
pencil with graphics. And I was like, cool, I haven't really done that. Yeah, I'll do
Yeah,
let's
do
just
it.
give it a go.
Right.
And I'm quite good at saying, yeah, I'll just figure it out.
Yeah.
And I'll deal with the stress on my own.
So, I mean, she found you because of the portfolio that you were making, I guess, or like.
Not yet. I think the work I created for her became a part of the
Right.
portfolio,
Right.
but I knew her through a friend.
Okay.
Nice.
But
Which
she
was
knew that you
lucky.
were a drawer. She knew that you could draw. Right.
Yes,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, which was lucky. Because I didn't really have a portfolio when I left. So
Yeah.
I only had a graphics portfolio, and I was like, I want to make it as an illustrator,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I had no portfolio.
Right. Okay.
So this really was a very critical time for me to build and just say yes to
Yeah.
any job to
Yeah.
build up
Yeah.
a bit of a portfolio. So she goes, look, I just, give it a go. And I produced a watercolor job for her. She was really happy. I wasn't so confident in
Yeah.
the skills I'd just
Right.
developed.
At the start, it's always like that, but like.
Yeah.
Exactly. It was a little shaky, and
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
that's
well,
fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure I could probably do better if I'd had a few years up my sleeve.
Yeah.
And then she came back and said, oh, I'd like another job.
Oh, sick.
And
Okay.
like same style.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to have to get better at this.
What were
and
you drawing?
fast.
Like,
It was just what she was producing was gorgeous. It was for her late grandmother's funeral or
Right,
something.
right.
And she sort of put together a book of all of the stages of her grandmother's life.
So it's like a personal. It
It
wasn't
was
for a
really-
brand.
No, it wasn't
right,
a
okay.
branded
Right.
project. It was a really personal project.
Right.
And things like her golden retriever and
So you were
birds.
painting that kind of stuff. Oh,
exactly.
wow.
So it
okay,
was
right.
nature. It wasn't
Yeah.
quite what I do now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a very different style back then. But that was kind of my introduction into watercolor.
Right.
And then from that, I started kind of really missing that lifestyle of, being a part of the world of fashion and missing out on so much
Yeah.
because financially
Right.
I couldn't
Right.
afford to have much of a life at all. It was,
Right.
Yeah.
rice and tuna for life, just, for
At the
those
start, the
first 6 months.
sacrifices.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. But I'd put my hand up for that, so I was dealing. But that's when I also started to draw again of things on the side. And that was a pair of shoes that, I thought were beautiful. I was always on blogs and Tumblr at the time.
Yeah.
And was just so envious of this life that everybody was having. Everybody was glamorous. Everybody was living
Yeah.
amazing lives. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, here I am, still in pajamas, doing so much work at next to nothing
Yeah.
and just, getting odd jobs. And so that's when I started illustrating items like shoes and dresses and bits and pieces just quickly because I didn't want it to be perfect. It was just supposed to be a quick sketch, and popped them onto my Instagram account. And this was a
Right.
personal account way back.
Yeah.
Back in 2003.
2003.
Is that, no, sorry.
2013.
2013.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
No, not 2003. That was a year after I left school.
That's
how old I am.
am. Wasn't around.
No, it wasn't. And then it got a little bit of traction,
Yeah.
funnily enough, because I wasn't on private and I really didn't
Yeah,
understand
yeah.
Instagram. And this is one of the flatmates again coming through with the goods,
Right.
going, this is the time to start a portfolio.
Yeah.
And at that time, I thought it was really narcissistic to think creating an account for just my artwork was like, hey, look at me, like I'm drawing stuff.
But I guess you were like one of the front runners for it in a way. Good. Like, because no one else was doing it.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, at that time we were posting photos of food and
just like whatever.
Of my shoes, like just in the warehouse or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I
No one
definitely
was
had food on my other one and
yeah.
flowers and trees.
Yeah, so, I mean, you kind of treated it as a portfolio at the very beginning, and it's like different mindset to what everyone was doing on Instagram at the time.
Exactly. I mean, I got a stern talking from my mum at that point, going, well, not a stern talking, sorry, mum, but it was more just like, just don't be too full of yourself, just settle down a bit.
Right.
And, and she's always very humbling and like it keeps you grounded.
Right.
So it was a very big shift, that's happened from the beginning of sharing your work as a portfolio to very much now promotion, marketing tool and advertising.
Yeah.
So there's been a huge shift over the last 6 years of using Instagram, but that's very much where it came from. And then we workshopped an idea for the name of like the Lust List, and it was like everything.
Tell us the story about that.
So that's sort of how it came out. So I'd drawn all of these little pieces, and we'd started this portfolio. I say we because collectively they're like, you should do this, like get on top of it. So I felt like they very much were like shepherds in guiding me to where I needed to be.
What do you mean by that?
So they were like, you should create your own account on Instagram. You should have a business name. Like,
who was saying this?
These are my flatmates that I lived with.
So you were saying the Lust List is you and your friends?
Well, it was, I think, at the very beginning when I
yeah.
had no idea of what I was doing.
They kind of guided you towards that.
They very much guided me.
Right, gotcha.
And so one of them's like, hey, let's workshop an idea for you for a name. And I was like, okay, so it's all luxury edits. And, I'm like, the Lux Edit, the this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
And one of my friends was like, why don't you just call it the Lust List? And I was like, it's a tongue twister and I like it.
Yeah,
so
right.
It just, and then within...
But you were saying, like, I've heard this story before, right? When you were like, it's a Lust List because it's like things I want but I can't afford or something, right?
That's
you were saying
exactly
that kind of stuff.
right. So that was the tagline, I guess.
Yeah.
So it did stem from, I guess, everything I can't have, I'll draw it.
Yeah.
And that's sort of how it became this catalogue of my wish list, basically.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Of the Lust List.
Right.
And it was a homage to all of these brands that I really thought were really quite incredible and the epitome of success. So I guess that was almost a bit of a guide to going, okay, I'd love to be able to get those one day. I'd love to have... I don't know, I just see myself maybe being there one day. And before I knew it, I started to realise that this was a bit of a marketing tool. This was a bit of an opportunity to pitch.
Yeah.
And
were you tagging the brands and stuff?
I was.
Oh, yeah.
I was, but I was going pretty high, pretty fast. So I was tagging like Celine and Chanel and Louis Vuitton.
Dream big, right?
Exactly.
It's very relatable. I think there's like a whole kind of like market of people who can't afford that kind of stuff, and you're helping them get through it, I guess.
Yeah.
Or get there.
It's like
eventually.
manifesting.
Yeah.
But it was a bizarre sort of beginning and how it sort of developed from there. And it wasn't until really that I got an agent. So backstory was I'd given myself 6 months.
Right.
So the moment I quit, I just said to myself, look, if I don't get an agent or somebody to help me move this forward and get me work within 6 months, I've got to go back to being a graphic designer, and I've got to just, like, too bad, you missed out.
Yeah.
Right.
And then just on the cusp of the 6 month mark, when I was sort of doing this on the side and just doing odd jobs, I got, I'd done a bit of a send out with like, please, like call me if you need anything, like here's a bit of my work.
Did you get any like significant work like within that 6 months, or like after posting on Instagram and thing, did people see you? Like, did you notice more like traction?
I did notice more traction,
right.
And I did notice a following,
right.
But not
what did you grow up to?
I think I was probably 3,000 at that point,
like
not much.
Yeah.
But I was pumped,
Yeah.
and I think even to the point where I left my notifications on, and I wasn't really sleeping through the night because it'd be like ping, and I'd be like,
Yeah.
another follower. So, but that was so exciting.
3,000 back then would have been pretty big.
I was excited for every little follower. I was like, I can't believe that. I mean, in the beginning, you know, friends and family, and that was lovely.
Starts
and
off that way,
it
but then
does.
the strangers that start commenting and stuff, and
that's I think exciting. I'm like, who are you? How did you find me?
Right.
But I'd sent out some sort of like a media kit in a way, like very basic, and my agent got in contact with me, and this was back before I really understood the power and significance that she had back then, because I sort of lived under a rock.
So what, a random person just messaged you? Like,
well,
is it your current agent? Like you said,
this
my
is my
agent.
current agent.
Yeah.
And I'd been told by one of my best friends, another one that I wasn't living with at the time, going, look, when you do your media send out, send it to the agency like Sweaty Betty. And I was like, okay.
Right.
Cool, like I don't really know these things,
but
I'll just do whatever.
Right. Okay.
And she was the one that turned around and called me and said, hey, I've got your work. I don't like calling people. Actually, I hate the phone, but I wanted to call you and say you keen to jump on board as like a talent, like she's a talent agent.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was like, yes, you know, I like smack bang on the 6-month mark.
Right.
I was about to go back to being a graphic designer. Like I needed someone repping me ASAP.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's the catch? She goes, there is no catch. We just
they find work for you.
Find me the work, and you know they take a percentage, which any management agency will do. But it was pretty much like we work hard if you're working hard. And so it was a win-win situation. I was working harder than I like have ever worked. I don't think I'm working as hard now. I think I've slowed down. I couldn't keep that pace up. But I've actually been with the same agency now for 6 years.
Wow.
And they've been brilliant, but that's sort of then it's with them that they've pushed me to the brands and had the vision. You know, I've said what I want, and then they've been the ones really getting me there, because I just didn't understand social, I didn't understand business.
And they kind of helped you through it.
They did.
It's kind of good. I mean, it's better than figuring it out alone. Like, as in, like, there's people that's always going to be supporting you and all that kind of stuff.
I've always been intrigued by the whole agency thing, because I don't think it's that big in our photography field. Like, I think if you're a fashion photographer, like, there's agents and stuff, but like, just generally, you don't see that many people repped by agencies, and like.
There's also incentive for them to push more work, because if you're doing well, they do well too. So it's like it kind of works both ways.
Exactly. And there's nothing, you know, better than a keen, young, inexperienced person that wants to do really well, because you literally work all weekend. And I'm sure, I know you both work really hard and well into the night.
Someone.
But
he's watching YouTube until 3 hours.
So not working. But I think, you know, that was 7 days a week, and you know, I was only catching a few hours each night. But
how many jobs were they pumping up to you, like at the beginning?
Well, when I first spoke to her and she said, look, we'd love to have you on board, she offered me a job that day and said, look, we've actually got a job coming up and we need an invitation. How quick can you turn it around? And so my hands were up, and I was like, when do you need it? Do you need it tomorrow? Exactly. And she was like, okay, like end of the week. And I think this was probably like a Wednesday. Give or take.
So and like 4 days to turn something around.
And I was like, game on. She goes, I've seen what you've done. I liked what you presented in your cards. Same style. This is what we need.
An invitation to an event. Okay, right. Was it for a brand or a company?
Yeah, it was. It was actually for Benefit, which is a makeup brand.
Yep.
A beauty brand. And they're still quite big. And it was for a boat trip on the harbour way back when. And I was just like, sure. Like, incredible.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really, really exciting. First job. And then that was sort of just before Christmas. And then I think come January, she was like, if you're ready to like join us, we have a few more jobs lined up. And I was like, hands up, yes please.
Cool.
And then we just literally went job after job after job after job, 7 days a week for the first 2 years. And then I think I said, I'm going to have a holiday. And she goes, no, you can't have a holiday. What do you mean? Do you want to succeed or not? And I was like,
she said.
What? Yeah. But you know what? I thrive on that, because I was like, yes, she wants me to succeed. And she goes, strike while the iron's hot, which I love. You know, I do see a lot of value in this.
So you were just like gaining momentum, I guess, at the time.
Exactly. And because I was one of the first people doing what I was doing and offering my skill set in a way people hadn't yet come around to. There wasn't as much competition then. So it was I was getting all the jobs.
So back then there wasn't much competition?
No.
But now do you find there's more competition now?
Yes.
Okay, right. Okay.
Yeah, I think I've noticed, especially probably the 3-year mark, people were seeing I was getting a lot of the jobs. I had quite a lot of views. People sort of saw my work in a lot of places because it was really only me doing those product illustrations. And they were like, I want in. I can do exactly that.
Right.
And so I guess you can call them copycats. I do see it as...
You're their inspiration.
But you know what? Opportunists out there. I mean, I would have done the same thing if that was what I wanted. And they've literally put their hand up and said, I can do it for half the price. Like, my hand's up.
We all deal with that in our industry as well.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely. It's cross-industry. So I think back then there was more of an opportunity for people to copy. So they did. And then, their hand was up asking for less.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the jobs were being given to them. And I think a lot of people were even trying to get into the same agency that were offering the same thing. But luckily, my agent was like, look, it's just too close.
Yeah.
You know, and even when they did have somebody jump on board and they did start literally mimicking everything I was doing.
That must be frustrating.
Yeah.
Frustrating financially because they're taking my jobs. But honestly, it was actually a bit of a, like, I think that a compliment. I was like, to inspire somebody like that, I'm like, wow, that means a lot that you want to do that.
But like, I mean, if you're the originator of it, right? Like the agency that you're working with will know that, and like they'll still probably put you ahead of all the other people. You know what I mean? And also, like, I think having an agency works well because you don't need to think about like prices or like that kind of stuff. Have you ever been like unhappy with the price that they gave, or like but if you're happy, they probably negotiate up for you, right? That kind of stuff.
I think yes.
Yeah, right.
If I've ever been unhappy with a quote, I've probably realised that that's up to me to go, look, we need to have an understanding, and that's my responsibility as well, because I can't, if I put all my eggs in one basket and take zero responsibility, I can't have a say. So I think it was up to me then to go, what am I worth? How long have I been doing this for? And it's a really awkward thing to do because you just don't know. Because
I mean, at the beginning you were like taking whatever and you're doing it for whatever, but then like after you grow and you gain an understanding of the industry, you probably want to realize that, you know, I can do it for more. And that
there's
kind of
so
stuff,
much. There's only so much time you have in a year. Like
Yeah.
a week or whatever, so you have to kind of manage that and ask for more money
Absolutely.
when you get busy and stuff.
And I saw a great quote the other day, which was, you know, it may only take you half an hour to do, but it took you years and years.
Is that a Picasso one?
I don't know. I saw it on Instagram.
I think it's like a famous, I don't know if it's real, but like they use Picasso as like he's sketching in the cafe or something, and like
But then I guess at the end of the day, like you want to do more for less, as in like you want to
do less for more.
Do more.
Do less for
earn more for doing less.
Just pay me, basically.
like you wanted to get to a point where like you can do like maybe a handful of jobs in a year, and then that's sort of your year, right? In a way, that's sort of like the goal for all creatives and freelancers in a way.
Exactly. You want to get the big jobs.
You
want to work with the right clients, and you want to have worked yourself up to a point where, you know, you're worth a lot more. But yeah, I think it's been a curve, you know, of learning to figure that out for myself, and also to go, all right, let's educate my team and say, if this is going to be how long it takes to do a proof, this is going to be how long it takes to do the job. And I think it is just a communication. So if things aren't going right for you, you've got to sort of take a step back and go, well, I can't just assume that everything's going to be all right. Like, how much knowledge have I given them? Like, everybody has to be on the same.
Right. But the last list is just you, as in like you draw everything, and like
I draw everything, which is great. This is why I have the management team, because business and money is not my strong point. So if you know, people are sliding into the DMs going, can you please do me a personal work? I'm very quick to
what
go.
Happens when that happens?
Shift it off.
I usually screen grab it, send it to my agent, and be like,
reply.
can you, or I get an email and just say, can you guys deal with it? Because
that sounds nice. We have to add reply all our stuff.
I'm a bit lazy. I'm terrible at that. That's something I need to work on.
Does your agency do photography people?
Come on board.
I'm just curious.
Come on board. Well, they don't have people like you yet.
Right, okay.
So I think there's always an opportunity, and she's quite the entrepreneur. So I think
is she by herself as well? Like, is she? Or she's got like a.
She's got a few companies. She's got 4 companies now.
Oh wow! Okay.
Under
she's
the
quite
one
big,
umbrella. Yeah. So her
Sweaty
name's
Betty. That's
her
name.
name's Roxy.
Oh, Roxy. Okay.
Roxy Jasenko.
Yeah, because we were talking to Sean about Chris, her agent, and producer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it's so different to
something for us to consider.
Yeah, because
how does that work?
She works with Chris, and he deals with her emails and pricings and that kind of stuff.
Helps to produce stuff as well.
Whatever she needs to get done. Like she goes, Chris, help me out. How do I print this or do that? Like it's just making stuff as well. He helps out.
So basically, she just focuses on what she needs to do, and he takes care of most everything else.
That's great.
Yeah.
I almost need
really
Chris
nice.
to come and work as like a middleman between me and my agency because I love the fact that they're dealing with the business because I think my skill is a workhorse. So give me a project and I'm just gonna only focus on that. I just want to put all my energy into it, get it done, do it as well as I'm happy to, send it back and not have to deal with the rest because that's not where my skill set is and other people are way better suited for that.
Right.
But still have to organise the rest. And then, managing my own products that I want to sell.
Yeah, so you have to find a supplier who can print all this stuff. You got to do all that.
Which I quite enjoy. I guess if you find anything that you want to do and you're researching it, then you're going, okay, cool, how do I get the best price? How do I do this? I've never spent so much time on eBay. There's so many people on eBay actually selling.
Do you sell on
certain
eBay
products.
or Etsy or?
So I sell Big Cartel, but more
right.
even just the little cello bags that I have to put my product in.
Yeah.
There are all these companies selling through eBay, and I was like, wow. So they're not big companies that are have bricks and mortar. It's more just places in China or places.
And they do custom stuff, they put your logo on it and stuff like that.
Backtrack, you sell physical products. What do you sell? Describe them for.
I have I've had a range of products in the past. I've sold notebooks, gift cards,
Christmas decorations and stuff.
Well, to a point. To a point, I've got Christmas tags and wrapping paper.
Travel tags?
No, but that's a goodie.
Okay.
I might do that. Thanks. Add to cart. Yeah.
Phone cases and stuff as well. I've seen
phone cases. Right. So I do that with another company on the side. So that's good. That's literally I submit my design. If they're happy with it, it's just on offer for people, and then I get 10% of whatever gets sold, which I can choose to collect at the end of the month. But the other ones that I source and stock and send out. But recently I've just softly launched, party props. This is another arm to my business that I really wanted to introduce because selfies are huge. Yeah. Everybody's getting more and more confident.
There's selfie props.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right.
So for weddings or parties or anything, you'll see it at a lot of events. And I've had an opportunity to work on custom jobs where creating life-size illustrations of these products. So for Kronenbourg, the beer company, they do So Frenchy, So Chic each year, which is a French kind of festival thing. I'm not really explaining it very well, but...
So French, so what is it?
So Frenchy, So Chic.
So Frenchy, So Chic. Okay,
it's tongue twister, hey?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they had it set somewhere Bicentennial Gardens or somewhere, and they had my props life-size. So say 6 foot person, just maybe my height, 5'3".
It's quite cool seeing it that big.
It's great seeing it that. It's fun. It's so interactive, which takes it straight off the piece of paper. And as we were saying, having that tangible element is really quite exciting. It really brings another dimension to your illustration. Right. So you'd have this life-size flamingo, these giant bottles of beer, these a giant fan.
Did you make stuff for Adobe? I remember being at the Adobe office and there was
we
were holding it for a photo, I think. Yeah,
right. That's exactly right. So for there, I think it was something for Mardi Gras.
Right.
But I created a range of maybe 8 props for them. And it just made it so much more fun. So when they took photos of all of their staff posing with the props, it just created something different.
Right.
So I wanted to now give people an opportunity to buy these life-size, customized, and actually small pack size, A4 and A3, to have for weddings or baby showers or parties and get them customized to whatever they want.
So when you draw, is it on an A4 piece of paper or an A3 piece of paper or something?
A4.
And they can get scaled that big? Like,
yes.
Really?
That's
wow.
cool.
That's awesome.
I'm scanning it at like 600%. Oh no, maybe it's whatever it can go the highest on.
Yeah.
I go, and then that enables me to have 0%.
There's no like pixelation or anything.
No.
Oh wow, that's cool.
It looks pretty good,
Surprisingly.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, I mean, I don't know how that works, but I do blow it up to be 2 size.
Right.
And then recently I did decals for a butcher.
Right.
So we created. I say we. I don't know why I keep saying we. I.
Yeah, because I got confused yesterday when we did that Q&A. And then you were like, ask the last list, any questions you want.
It's a brand,
like, you don't, like, it's sort of like, not Sally, it's more like your brand.
Yeah, it is, because I guess I don't like to take full ownership sometimes, because there's such a team working really hard, getting me jobs, working behind the scenes, that I don't like to take the credit.
It's a combination of a lot of people and like a lot of things that make
I do like
the
that
last
it's a
list
brand.
happen.
Yeah.
Because then if you ever want to go bigger or like scale or step away or like do less or try something else, you can do that.
Or hire someone. It's all under like one thing, right?
Exactly.
Like if you were to try and like separate you, Demas, from Demas, it's gonna be pretty difficult.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I know it can be a bit ambiguous sometimes when it's like we, I, us.
Yeah.
But I think, I guess, without the team that you know runs really behind, there's a lot of support, and I really couldn't do physically could not do all the things I can do now without that support.
Have you ever considered like scaling even bigger and like, you know, having employees and like all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, and I think the thing that prevents me from scaling up is financials. I think when you work for yourself, and if you're wanting stability, don't work for yourself. Because the income, you know, one time, you know, you may get paid really well from a great job, but then not see anything for 3 or 4 months, and then again. But it's so unpredictable that, you know, I love the unpredictability in the sense that it'll always keep me driven to go out and not be idle. But if I'm to employ somebody, I have to have that in the bank, ready to go. Okay, so that year I earn X amount, and I'm going to put their salary away to then pay them for the following year. But I just wonder,
it could potentially get you like more, like as in, but it might. It could work both ways, I guess.
You hire freelance, so you don't have to keep them on retainer or whatever, and like
you can do like per job basis, or like if maybe I don't know.
No, you are right, absolutely.
But, like, people have asked me like you know, like do you want an intern or like that kind of stuff. Like for what I do, I don't think it's that to that level yet.
I've hired people for jobs, right? But like I can't imagine having them on for a whole year, because like I haven't done anything besides this podcast for the last 3 months, and like what do they do during this time?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to pay you right now.
Right.
Yeah, so I think that stability on both counts. I mean, for them as well, I think I'd probably feel quite guilty if I didn't have the work, and and sometimes I know you have to sometimes go 3 steps back to go 10 forward. But sometimes I utilize that downtime instead of going, how am I going to teach somebody? I go, what am I going to create to sell somebody? So I think that's kind of where I keep reinvesting my time instead of hiring somebody, is going, what's the next product? How can I grow my brand? You know, like we were even talking beforehand, you know, the idea of a podcast, you know, how do I grow myself? And
Sally's going to start a podcast, guys.
Stay tuned.
Encourage her to,
Well, they've been inspiring me, so we'll see. Stand by.
That's a good idea.
That's when I might need to hire someone to help me with that. But yeah, I don't know. I think I get a little stunted there. I don't know how to move forward sometimes if I don't have.
I think we're always it's a scary step, right? I mean, whenever the change happens, it always takes a bit of time to, you know. Like it took me so long to just like make YouTube videos, when now like it's not that bad. Like it's like it's not that bad to sit in front of camera and talk or whatever. Like I should have done it ages ago. But like it's
just gotta do it.
Yeah, I think you just have to do it.
Did you guys struggle with that transition of being behind the lens to in front of the lens?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hearing myself is hard.
I recorded a YouTube. So I've been making YouTube videos on my own channel, like tutorials on how to edit photos, make videos, that kind of stuff.
I've watched a few. They're really good.
Thank you. Thank you. And last Sunday, I just had like a day where like I just didn't want to speak, but I had to record.
Yeah. That's a YouTuber problem.
Man, like the footage, it's like so much stuttering and like it's just like, what's wrong with you? like I was like afterwards like, what? Why can't I speak properly? But like,
you just sleep more.
Yeah, I don't know. It was like, I don't know. It's just something like I just didn't feel like it that day, but I just wanted to do it.
Yeah.
That's a problem with daily vloggers. Like, if they don't want to be on camera, they're having like a bad hair day, whatever it is. Like, they have to kind of still do it and put on a face and like.
Yeah, but like I mean, at the end of the day, I've already cut it up and it's fine. Like it's just like, I don't know what I was thinking at the time, but it's just funny to realize like, you know, like you're sitting at the camera just staring at, you know.
Yeah. And
it's weird, but I think you just have to get used to it. Yeah.
I find that super inspiring.
Yeah, you should just do it. Like, if you're kind of worried about starting a podcast, there's a lot of technical things you can just stumble through, but we're here to help you and stuff, and like.
And you learn along the way, like as in we started doing
this. Holding you to that, then.
I'm not going to edit for you, but I'll tell you what to do.
Well, that's where I might be needing to hire someone.
Yeah. There's also like technical stuff as well, like as in before, or like this is probably lots of episodes in, but at one stage there was no intro to this podcast. So, like we didn't intro the
guest. That's a new thing. Yeah.
Well done.
So like Lucy, we were just watching an episode, like just show. Lucy, have you seen this episode? I showed the Elaine episode to Lucy, and she's like, "Oh, but if someone doesn't know who Elaine is, how like you just get into it? Like you should give a little bit of an intro." So then we started doing that. So like you just kind of learn along the way. People give you people give you like
feedback.
Like one episode was like really quiet. So like the next episode we try to
super loud.
Make it better. Yeah. You just have, it's always going to be a feedback loop, and So same with making tutorials on YouTube. If I miss something, so the next episode I'll try not to miss it. That kind of stuff.
But he's like, when we started this, he committed us like, we're gonna do weekly starting from next Monday, which is like 3 days away. It's like, but yeah, I guess like
it's been good.
It's annoying. It's a lot of work, but like it pushes us to have to do it.
Yeah.
I think I was saying this to you guys beforehand,
yeah.
which I love and I find really inspiring, and I think everybody needs to do this, is that commitment to yourselves and just saying, I want to do this, and literally just making it happen. Because that, caution to the wind and just going, I'm just going to figure it out.
Don't be afraid kind of thing, and just like, don't, like, as in you can be afraid, but like, don't be, it's okay to make mistakes, and
you're ready to learn, and I think you're already recognizing that you don't have to be perfect. You can be on the back foot to start, because the more you know, I guess, the less you know as well, but in the sense of going, well, if I'm always ready to learn, I'm already ahead of the others because I've started.
We had to pick a name, because I guess that was kind of stopping us from starting, like getting all the URLs and all the usernames and stuff, so it was like, we came up with a name pretty quick, I think.
We had all these
within a day.
I think
he was I stole
it
from someone else.
No, he was watching a vlog or someone, and there was a girl talking about like 5 to 9, and we're like, oh, that's a really
There was some dumb kind of ideas.
I like numbers. I'm a maths guy, so I was like, let's just make it 3 numbers and make it really obscure.
But we're worried it's going to be too obscure, and we have to keep like kind of.
Well, people get it when you say it 529. It's very clear, but if you read 529, it's not clear.
But I like the way you say it, and I think people are educated. The
I hope so. After 12 episodes, what's 5? 5
to 9. I like it.
Yeah, thanks.
I was going to ask you, like, you started, drawing stuff you want, right? And like all these fashion brands and stuff. Has it ever gone to a point where like the actual brand has reached out to you and you've actually worked with a dream client, or like?
So you've manifested it essentially.
Yeah. In a way, like you drew your way to get it. In a way, you know what I mean? Like.
I have been fortunate enough to do that. I've been really, really lucky. I think one of the first big clients that I got were actually Smythson, which is a London. Stationery and bag company.
Right.
And I think this is sort of when I was with my agency, and they've got beautiful, beautiful products. And I think that was sort of back when, we agreed on sort of more of a contra.
Right.
So they'd give me product for me to
illustrate. Was it because you drew a Smythson thing?
I think it might have been.
Right.
I think they might have been like, oh, I want to be on her lust list. I want to be one of these products that she's lusting after.
Right.
And I think I don't know whether I had done it at that point, but they were like, I want to be featured. I want to be one of the things that people are wanting.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's sort of how it sort of started to become marketable. Because I think what people were seeing, they're like, well, how do I get that? Where do I find it? And because it was a range, it was, your Chanels and your Louis Vuittons, but also things that you could just buy, like beauty products that people could find in DJs or wherever.
Yeah.
That's smart to mix it in as well. Like
it is.
Yeah.
I mean,
and you do like this outfit stuff where you mix and match. You know, this thing can go with this thing, and it's all this. Yeah,
absolutely. And that's sort of like the style guide that I like to give people. And I think when you do click into it, a lot of it, like I'm lusting after that sort of a high-end product, but I do mix it in with things that you can buy super cheap. So I want people to be able to say, look, this is the look, but you can buy it for much less of the price. And that's very much, I guess, how I'm living my style life. You know, I'll buy it on the cheap. As much as I would love to be able to afford a lot of those things, you know, it is very much, this is what's in fashion, this is what we all want, but this is how you can put it together.
What brands have you worked with now? Like,
sort of going backwards, recently I've worked with L'Occitane, which is a beauty brand.
How you say it? I never know how to say that.
French ones,
L'Occitane or something. Like, I was
calling it L'Occitane for about 5 years. And then it wasn't until I went to...
It's called L'Occitane?
L'Occitane. So like the double C, I think, is like an X.
It's an X, And it's got an L apostrophe. It's like, what is happening here?
I agree. I had zero idea. And I just kept saying it so confidently. Like, L'Occitane.
People don't correct you. They just like, she doesn't even know. So these brands scare me.
I've had many people try and correct me now with the new word, well, like the new pronunciation, going, you're saying it wrong. I think I was saying it wrong before. But so that L'Occitane was actually one of the amazing beauty brands I worked with. Another one that's actually coming to mind that isn't a fashion label is actually a coffee company.
Okay.
So Nescafe.
Oh, nice.
So I've also worked with Johnny Walker and a couple of other
I remember you.
And alcohol brands. And sort of even like Laurent Perrier, another French one.
That's the orange label.
Is it?
No,
I don't know.
I think it might be blue.
Colorblind. No, I'm thinking of a different brand.
Are you?
I'm thinking of a different brand.
He actually is colorblind.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I can see colours. He just likes to say that, like monochromatic colorblind.
You can see. There's colours you can't see. There's a few colours. Yeah, okay.
Anyway.
Well, your photos are so extraordinary. I could never tell that you were colourblind.
It's a good ruse, yeah.
So you're editing it well, though. I like what you see.
For me.
Right. Should we do some Q&As? Yeah. So yesterday we asked you guys to ask Sally some questions. For a little peach, Sean. Hello, Sean.
Hi, Sean.
How do you see your work evolving over the next few years?
Oh, it's a good question. And I
Thanks,
don't
Sean.
know. Go, Sean. Stump me there. Well, I am trying to sort of make it a little bit more tangible. I do want to get more digital, and I know I said that last Max as well. I did want to get more digital, and I think I'm quite aware of how much paper I'm using. So making it digital will also be better for the environment, and also it's better for scalability. I do want to expand my skills photography-wise, and as I said before, podcast. So I think I don't really know how much further I can go with what I'm doing, and like you guys, Instagram with its shifts. I'm just not too sure how much longevity I've got left in this medium. But I do want to branch out to podcasting and actually more of an educational side to what I do.
Okay.
I think your audience will appreciate it, like something longer form.
Sean asked one more thing. Do you still love painting product/fashion as much as you did when you began? Why or why not?
Yes, I do. Because a lot of the companies I'm now working with are the ones I've sort of been trying to, I guess, manifesting. And so now I get to work with the companies that maybe I have been drawing beforehand but didn't quite get the opportunities.
That's a good feeling, right?
So to go, okay, so I wasn't paid for that and I was drawing it just because I love it. And now I get to draw them because they're paying for it. And they're going, hey, I want to see that, but with our new product. And can you put together this, this outfit or whatever for us and just make it for us only. And that's exciting because I'm now drawing things that I really, really want and get to have a connection with that brand.
You can see like how far you've traveled and like how far you've grown, because like when we end up working with brands, we only started this like self-taught not too long ago, and then we're in it already, so it's kind of
it's exciting. Isn't it?
Mart, how do you say this?
It'll be on the screen.
Mart Julian Jans.
Thanks, man. Butcher it.
What kind of water paint do you use?
Okay, so I work with Winsor & Newton, and I haven't worked with others, but I have tried others. So it's not just I'm not just working with Winsor & Newton because we collaborate together.
Okay, right.
I have tried other things, but I do find this works best with my techniques.
Okay.
So, I work with their watercolor paints and then just, the regular HB pencils, 16 pencils. So I use 6B pencils.
But like when you said it, it was like I haven't touched
know,
a
it
pencil
sounds like
in
a brand,
15 years.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
Hype beast, bro. HB.
Yeah.
Hype beast.
Like the higher the HB.
Name.
Huh?
Is that
No. Hype beast is a brand. Is a cultural
street
website kind of thing.
Oh,
Streetwear website.
I was going, is that the real name?
No.
So
What
HB,
is? Do you know what it stands for?
No.
Yeah, I don't know. No one knows.
HB, like the higher it gets, the softer and darker it gets, right? Like
The higher it is, yeah. So 8B, 10B and stuff is super dark.
It's like a charcoal.
Yeah.
I know it.
But yeah, so that and pencils.
Okay.
How do you find? So how is the transition between like physical and digital?
Oh, it took a while.
Yeah,
I just didn't
You don't have that
understand.
paper feel on the thing, and like, is that? I don't know.
Yeah, no, but you're right. I think I like the resistance maybe.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like I'm probably pushing quite a lot on my iPad.
Yeah.
And sometimes
Is there a delay still? Is that annoying or like how's the?
It's not
latency,
annoying now, but I think the transition was I didn't understand it as much. Like I found it quite frustrating because I guess I was working really fast and I was used to seeing such instant results. But similar style.
Yeah.
Like I still use the I go over things quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's same.
Stretcherella? Is that how you say it? Yeah, Stretcherella. How do you find your style? And how long did it take you to settle on your style?
I think it took a while to find the style I have now, but I think what I started with was really, really simple. The concept behind it was I didn't want to waste time. I wanted it to be under 5 minutes. Now it can take an hour.
Right.
But wanted it to be under 5 minutes, really quick, piece of paper. I was literally doing it this big instead of this big.
Yeah.
And so quick, like 1, 2, 3, and then my paint just literally slapping the paint on, not even letting it bleed, just like that'll do.
Yeah.
To now blowing it up, wanting to see the detail, giving people almost that double take. I like it when people are like, "Oh, I thought that was a photo."
Yeah.
And that to me is
sometimes
a huge compliment.
it's hard to tell.
Yeah, I like to do that too. Like with my photography.
Yeah, I know yours is
because if it's
such
like
a warp.
Photoshopped and stuff. Like I really love to get people to think it's real.
Yeah.
Like that sort of
it's
reaction.
kind of nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's not that you're trying to fool anyone, but it is nice to actually go, what actually is it reality?
Yeah.
It's like another form.
Okay. I guess style also develops through time.
It does.
And like you gotta start somewhere and then develop it, get better. Like
exactly. I think one of my main influences back when I started was Garance Doré, who's a fashion illustrator and now podcaster and blogger, and her illustration style back when I began was very much the core inspiration. Right. It was very quick. I mean, it might not have been quick, but it looked like beautifully quick, very whimsical illustrations.
Yeah.
And then I was more and more inspired by photorealism.
Yeah.
Your C.J. Hendry's, and I just loved how you could see it and just be so like you couldn't believe that it wasn't a photograph.
Yeah.
And so I think I sort of wanted to spend more time and develop that.
Okay. Awesome. One last one. Studio_Sally Taylor. What would your ideal project and client be?
Well, Sally is actually one of my best friends.
She's not you, right?
Second account.
So Sal's actually one of my best friends, and we've worked together on some incredible projects.
Yeah.
And
Double Sally.
I know. Squared.
Sally Squared.
Sally Squared. And the projects I've worked with Sal have been incredible, and that was actually another side thing that I was working on at uni even.
Right.
And so she's an interior designer.
Right.
And she owns her own business at the moment. And she works with a lot of hotels and restaurants. And she designs the fit out.
Yeah.
And then I've had the opportunity to work with her to create artworks for the fit outs.
Fit outs. Yeah.
Nice. So she's amazing. She's taken me to Fiji and we've got a couple of places. I think it's Ash Street. So she did Felix. And
then there's the restaurant.
And there's a coffer, which is kind of basically it's like a swimming pool turned upside down in the roof.
Oh wow!
And there's
that's a Merivale restaurant. Yeah, I've been there once. Yeah.
So there's just above the bar. There's this mosaic of black and white illustrations of women by a pool.
Right.
And so she got me to do that. So we worked on this like extra long thing.
I'll have to go check it out. Okay.
But working with her on projects is always really fun. And that was also the butchers that I drew the cows with recently. So that's on my Instagram that you can see.
Yeah.
But that was just decals.
Yeah.
One of these.
Yeah.
And then this is... Yeah, and so that was decals I did for a storefront for her. But it's lovely working with her and different styles, as you say, for projects like that. But
in terms of like, I don't know, brands or clients or sort of...
Brands and clients, I think what I would love to...
Like one you want to work with or something, I guess?
I think one of the top tier. So ideally I would love to work with the Chanels or the Louis Vuittons or the top tiers. I mean, it's not that they're not all top tiers, but the brands that I guess aren't as attainable.
Yeah. The Gucci, the Prada.
Exactly.
You got to put it out there to the world.
Hermes. Yeah. How do you say that one?
Hermes.
Hermes.
Yeah, okay. I don't know. Not French. I'm probably absolutely butchering it as well.
Okay. There's no H though.
Hermes. It's a silent H. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Hermes.
Yeah. Okay.
It's alright. We all know.
Right.
So I think that ideally, if I got opportunities to create for them, that would be fantastic. But I do love working with all my clients now, and there is a range from hotels to fashion labels to jewelry to beauty. So I have had a beautiful range already, and
I think it's super
quite
cool
fortunate
that you can actually apply your style, your techniques onto lots of different things. It's not just fashion; it's like all these other things too. I guess I want to know also when did your Instagram sort of take off? Like, as in, is there a specific point, or like did it like just grow slowly over time, or like was there a one big boost or something? Or
I think within those first 2 years of working with my agency, I before that I didn't have the PR team behind me. I didn't have the social push. I didn't have the knowledge, and because I was quite rare in my skill offering at that point, they absolutely pushed it, and there was so much media, newspaper, magazines.
Yeah, you've been featured in a lot of places.
Which I'm so fortunate for.
Yeah.
But that I think was the prime time where they're like, nobody else is offering this. Let's go.
Yeah.
And that's when I was able to really capitalize on that, and that's when I made that big shift from, I think it was 70 or maybe even 30,000.
Yeah.
To over the 120 mark.
Oh, wow.
And that was huge, and then it sort of leveled out a bit.
Yeah, right.
Back then, growth was kind of more is rampant the right word? Not rampant, but easier. I think. Right. Now it's like you need to do something crazy to kind of to
really capture their attention. Oh, actually, that's another thing I'm wanting to move into.
Something crazy.
Let's get crazy, guys.
We can film and stuff. What are we doing?
AR. AR is something I'm actually really wanting to get into.
Yeah, that would be really cool for your stuff.
Yes, and so stickers and filters. I know Martina's has already
the face filters and stuff.
Did you see Joy's
done
one?
all of that.
Joy had like a mooncake.
Oh yeah,
I don't know how she made it.
Joy made a mooncake helmet
for like Chinese New Year.
For a moon festival.
Can anyone do it now on Instagram?
I think you submit it to somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah, I was speaking to Martina and I wanted to get in contact with them because I've been having a lot of people emailing me going, "Hey, if you pay me, like $1,000, I'll create 3 things for you." And I was like, no, I need to.
What about
gifts to Joy?
Yeah, well, I need to do gifts and stuff as well.
Gifts would be really good,
especially
for you too.
with my party props. I'm wanting to sort of launch it all around the same time.
But imagine she did like a face filter kind of thing. That would be that'd be cool.
That's something I'd love to do.
Yeah.
And then I was playing around with Project Aero from Adobe, and that has been so much fun. So I've got my props and sort of turned them all into PNG files. And then been dropping them around the house, and I can literally walk around them with my iPad, and I want to create content where it just again becomes, it's not even tangible, it's AR, so it's all like
so we're going to be going to Max.
I guess backstory, we met Sally through Adobe, I guess. And you guys went to Max
Adobe
together
Max,
the first year.
Las Vegas.
But I met you at Make It, I think a few years ago.
Yeah.
And I guess we became friends through being connected with Adobe.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're all about to go to Max. This episode will probably come out somewhere close to Max, I think.
That's months away.
Yeah. But yeah, so we all met, and we're about to go to Max, and it's super cool, and
it's so exciting. It's such a hub of creativity.
Yeah.
And I think that I was speaking to somebody yesterday who tagged along to a Max one year, and they were just like, it is so inspiring being around that many creative people with so many ideas.
It's really invigorating.
Yeah. So invigorating.
Yeah,
I feel like I live under a rock 80% of the year.
Yeah.
And then when I go out for Max, it's just like, as exhausting as it is, because you're so excited and so...
Jet lag and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, jet lag especially. But I feel like you're just so creatively pumped up.
Yeah.
Like when I get back, I'm just ready to roll again. Yeah. And
it's good.
Once a year, it's a good thing. Yeah, and like they invite so many talented people, and then you see what everyone else is doing and how hard they're working, and it's a good push.
It's a great push.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, if you didn't have any motivation before then, you definitely come back.
But you see all the different things they're doing, and like you try to integrate that into your own kind of practices and stuff.
Exactly.
Hopefully, we can do some podcasts like after Max. So yeah, we'll get everyone on the Max team to kind of jump in.
Yeah,
a group one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, are you going to do AR as well? What are you guys wanting to explore?
I
haven't thought about it, to be honest.
Oh, for Max?
For Max.
I don't know. I think maybe make some sort of YouTube tutorial or something. Something I've learned at Max or something.
Well, we have to go to the classes first and see how it goes. Yeah.
And then potentially maybe make a video for 5 to 9 or do lots of different podcasts as well when we're there. So
we've signed up for a whole bunch of different classes.
Yeah. Yeah, but hopefully, the podcast we do at Max will probably be season 2. And it'll be with some of the international friends we've made along the way.
I cannot wait to hear.
Yeah, there's some cool people for sure that we want to get on there. Yeah.
We gotta get on there.
Yeah,
we gotta get
on there. I'm tuning in.
Yeah. Before we finish, where can we find you and how can...
Plug yourself.
Yeah, plug yourself. What sort of stuff are you doing right now?
So you can find me on Instagram at The Lust List.
Underscore The Lust List underscore.
You're right. You can find
for
me
the
on...
listeners.
You can find me on Instagram at _The Lust List _.
Yep.
And so you can follow me there, and then also on Facebook under the same one.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Do you have anything coming up?
Oh, party props.
Nice. Okay. And that's all on your website?
And that's all on my website.
Awesome.
Yeah, so
check it out.
Come check out the new party props I've got. You can get them customized. I can make them suit your events and your parties. So just send me an email.
Do you send them internationally? Worldwide?
Yes,
okay,
I
awesome.
I do. So if you're somewhere that I haven't got up on my website, just shoot me an email and I'll make it happen.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you, Sally, for coming on, and
thanks for having me.
All right, guys, thank you so much for listening. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and
the bell.
Comment, ask us any questions you want to ask.
The bell notifications, do all.
do everything.
Yeah.
If you're listening on iTunes, if you could leave a review, that'd be awesome. And if you're on Spotify, make sure you give us a follow there.
Thanks to those who've left a review on iTunes. I read it all. So
awesome. Thank you so much. We'll catch you in the next one.
Bye, guys.
Bye.